Hello, explorers. Welcome back. I'm Dr. Moby, the Explorer. I'm back with another conversation today about the Maldives, a place that I have wanted to travel to for years, but cost was prohibiting me from traveling. This video is with Miss Courtney. She has been on the channel before. If you have not checked out her videos, she dropped some gems when she talked about traveling being a means of therapy for Black people and, in particular, Black women. Ms. Courtney also did another video with me. She shared some of her favorite travel places. Share those as a solo traveler. So if you have not checked out her other videos, please do so. Today, we're going to talk about the Maldives, that small country that has a little over 500,000 people. It's in the south of Asia. There are about 200 islands that are have people that live on them, and out of that 200, about 20 of them have a little bit more than 1,000 people. Many of you, like myself, have said we've put the traveling off because we thought we needed a husband, so it had to be a honeymoon, or we thought we had to have this special person, or we thought we had to have a whole lot of money to make this work. But Miss Courtney is here today to tell us how to do the Maldives on a fraction of the cost. What you want to do is not click off this video, because 2021 and 2022 we're gonna all be looking for new destinations to travel to. You're gonna want to hear how to make the Maldives your next destination. Look, click the like button right now, because you're gonna like everything it is that she has to share with you. Thank you, Miss Courtney, for giving me your time again and again and again. But you have so much information, and so I'm gonna let you talk. If you would, just kind of tell us about your experience in the Maldives and how do we get there for less than 10,000, less than 5,000.
Yeah, definitely less than five. So again, thank you for having me again. Um, and my experience in the Maldives was absolutely breathtaking. I become at a loss for words. There's only a few places I think in the world that I would say parallel the beauty, and it's like just you're in awe of it because it just kind of hits you that, oh my God, I'm living in a screensaver. I mean, that's kind of
Like,
what it looks like. And it's absolutely just wow. It just made me, just from the flight in, as you kind of cross the sea. I flew from Los Angeles. I was living there at the time, and I had a layover in Istanbul. So to go to the Maldives, there's not too many direct flights because, this was 5 years ago when I went. It's at that time, it wasn't as Jamaica, it's not as a popular tourist destination. And I remember telling some friends and coworkers where I was going, and they just kind of went, "What? Where is that?" I had to explain to them south of India, this little bitty remote island, the South Pacific, but it's just absolutely beautiful. But yeah, I'll just dig into ways I think that it can be affordable. It is very expensive. I mean, that was one of the things I had on my bucket list that I didn't think I would get to until post-retirement.
Right.
Like you've been saving up
Mhm.
5-10 years, and all right, baby, we gonna go to the Maldives, kind of a thing. But I'll tell a quick story about how that trip even presented itself in my lap. And I really do say, just a quick segue, most of my travels have all been, I would say, a reaction, or I would say a side effect or cause and effect from, I say, the law of attraction that I had started using, and I didn't even realize that's what I was using.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So real quick, I'll tell a quick story on that. About, I want to say 2009, 2010, I was diagnosed with severe Crohn's disease. It was debilitating. I could not walk. I was in severe pain every day, but I was still going to work. And at that time, I had to take like a lot of pain pills to like just get out of bed.
Wow.
So my goal, and I've always wanted to travel. My birthday is on Monday, so I'm a Sagittarius. I've always wanted to just kind of hit up every continent. But at that time, I think I had only been, to the Caribbean, Mexico, like maybe a cruise family. I don't want to dismiss that, but for me, I was like, I need to see the world. I want to go to some of these exotic places beyond, the Europe, the Caribbean, Mexico that Americans tend to kind of stay close to because that's what's promoted. So going to work, doing all these things, I started taking these seminars and a couple like online webinars I would follow, a lot of podcasts. I just started reading a lot of books about how to get the life you want, how to work the 4-hour work week, Tim Ferriss. I kind of tried to live by that. Like, how do I still excel in my career, but not be there at the same time every day where you don't feel tied down, because I enjoyed the job. But anyway, I wrote down, and I'm simplifying it, but I wrote down these affirmations that I would say. I also wrote a list of all the places I wanted to see by 40. And the reason I say that is because I was so sick at that time, I didn't think I would make it till 40. Because I was getting these chemo type treatments every week, and I'm sitting next to people that have 6 months to live and 9 months to live. So I said, you know what? I'm not gonna let this defeat me. I'm gonna change my lifestyle. I lost about 45 pounds at that time. I started eating healthy. I went all the way from one extreme, because I'm a foodie, I love food, to, okay, let me meal plan and try to find ways to make the foods I love. And how all of that led to travel is because I said, well, I'm going to go travel to all of my favorite foods in those destinations. So that kind of started my list, right? And because of Crohn's, I felt limited and restricted by, I can't do all these things I want to do. So in my mind, I said, I'm writing this list down. Had no idea that me starting this healthy lifestyle, I ended up going to this conference. I was doing one of these multi-level marketing companies back then. And I went to Chicago conference, met a lady from Australia. Me and her hit it off, stayed in contact. We became really good friends. She said, do you mind coming to the Maldives? And I was like, are you kidding me? I was like, wait a minute. Let me pull up my list and show you that just a year ago, like within that same time frame, I wrote down visit the Maldives. That was like number 1 on my list. And so she's like, yep. I said, but this is crazy. I can't afford the Maldives. You know how expensive and ridiculous? She's like, no. I've been here for 2 months. I'm in housing. They had it was an Airbnb. I forgot the name of it, but it was like a vacations rentals. The other, I forgot what it's called, but there's another site like Airbnb. So she was staying there, and she said, we go to all the inhabited islands every weekend where you see the villas on the water. And she's like, you don't stay there. You can just stay at the inhabited islands and then ferry over and just get a day pass to the Conrad, the Four Seasons. And you can get a day pass, depending on the resort, anywhere from $55 to $125.
So you can go to this resort and use their amenities.
Correct.
Okay. Oh, see.
So the people that are paying $5,000 or $1,000 a night to stay at the Conrad, the Four Seasons, if you're, depending on which island you are in, you might need to take a plane to get there if you're, further away, just a seaplane. And those are relatively, inexpensive. I want to say, oh boy. Okay, the ferry for me to get from Maule to our island was $145 round trip.
Okay.
So when you think about that and you add up outside of your plane ticket, mine was from LA to the Maldives was $1,500. My room and board, because I paid for the meal plan and all the other amenities, which was an extra $30. So I'm at $90 a night. So and I was there for I think 8 or 9 days. So you look at that, you can get the same experience, and if you count add in your day passes, let's say if you go not every day but every other day, because you can still find stuff to do at the inhabited island. And then go to the resort maybe 3 or 4 times if you stay a week. So that's going to be an extra $400. So you're looking at a week cost of $2,000 if you.
That's
if
not
you, right. No.
Versus 10,000.
Now let's keep it relative. Now $2,000 is still expensive for a lot of travelers. So that's not going to be an everyday trip. Plus, do not sleep on traveling now. And I just think that this is going to be the future. Hopefully when COVID ends, it won't be as bad. But
so let me stop you. One of the common mistakes that people make, I've met people who have gone and they say, oh, I only went to one island.
Yep.
What I heard you say is you should be visiting multiple islands when you go to the Maldives.
You can. That is an option. So what you can do, and what I would recommend if you want to travel to the Maldives on a budget, and budget is relative because it's still an expensive destination, and I try to be very just candid with people about expectations. 1,500 or so was my flight from LA to the Maldives via Istanbul. And there's some where you might go through, there's a couple that went through, I believe, Japan or Taiwan, I believe, just different points that you have. However, once you get there, everything else as far as flights are cheap. The hotel and accommodations, those, 4 or 5-star resorts, yes, those are going to be $1,000, $5,000 a night. You can find some marginal, I don't want to say marginal. I would say you could find some that I would say comparable to a nice 3-star hotel here for $400 a night. 300 a night.
Let me give the viewers an example. So I did some research before, and I wanted to stay for 2 weeks, and I was right at 10,000, a little over 10,000. Did some research last week. The W Marriott, to give you an example, the cheapest room for about 8 nights was $3,200. That was the cheapest.
Wow. Yeah.
That was one of the cheapest, and that's the W Marriott. I love Marriott properties. And I think the cheapest was like $665 per night.
Okay.
Per night.
Yeah.
And then with breakfast was like $700 per night.
Mm-hmm. That's about right. So I am going to wait, I'm pulling up my itinerary here. So now this was in 2015. So it's a little bit more now, but now with COVID and they're not getting as much business, I don't think it's going to be that much more. I did check a year ago, it was around this, maybe 70, 80, but at the time I stayed, my price for my hotel accommodations, that included breakfast, and it was $65 a night. And that resort is called TME.MV, and that's Mary Victor. So Thomas Mary Edward .MV for Maldives, I guess Maldives. So Mary, Thomas Mary, yeah, we'll put the link in there. So, and if you do the full board, that's another $35. It was a ferry that transferred us when we arrived in Male. So Male is the capital of Maldives. Anybody going to any resort, that's where you'll land. And I don't know if you haven't researched the Maldives, it is a strict Muslim country. So you have to adhere to, when you're in the city, if you're not at the resort, you must adhere to, the laws of the culture. So I went during the summer, it was extremely hot. And I think I had on maybe like a spaghetti strap, like a sundress, and my shoulders were exposed. So as soon as I got off the plane, we made sure that, you cover yourself, cover your hair if you're a woman. And I know some people don't like that. But I mean, I just thought it was beautiful because I look at when in Rome, you look at it as doing Romans do. They're not invoking on your freedoms. Just like when if you're at a baseball game, you want to dress appropriately for the baseball game and not like you're at a fight, just, that's the way I look at it. And I know some people, I don't want to go there. So, but as long as you're respectful, I went during Ramadan. So so the people, they were nice. They were a little bit more timid and shy. And I found out that's because of the culture. It's a place where they don't want to get in trouble. And so a lot of times people might think, oh, well, they weren't as nice to me. The resorts are going to be overly nice at you. Like they know you're there, you're paying money. They're going to treat you like a king and queen, The food is not known. I mean, outside of the resorts, to me, the food was just okay. And that's just because I love Indian food and that cuisine. And I felt like at the time, I know they were under some strict rules as far as governments. I don't know if they had, it was a lot of political turmoil going on, and it was during Ramadan. So
let me get this right. You stayed in, it's like an Airbnb.
Yeah. So where I stayed was I would call it like a small boutique hotel, not a resort.
Okay.
But almost like a bed and breakfast, but I believe they had about 20 to 40 rooms.
Okay.
And some of them were villas along the beach where you have a walkout, you have a private pool. Others were like I'd say like a deluxe suite. You have a living area, you have your bedroom, showers, everything was upgraded and very contemporary. The food, I think I lost some weight, not so much. They tried, part of the challenge there outside of the like luxurious resorts with the nice restaurants, they try to accommodate to Westerners. So I wanted local, like indigenous food.
Right.
And the menu is, we're going to serve you hamburger. We got chicken fingers, and
Okay.
they try to Americanize stuff, and it's just not it's not what you want it to be.
Right, because as you do some research about the Maldives, and like you said, and what you're suggesting, one of the pieces of research that I found is they're saying a budget way to go and still enjoy is not to stay at one of the luxury resorts, but to actually find a guest house. And there are very nice guest houses. They're saying affordable hotels that are very beautiful as well. So you don't have to find the 5-star that are planted right on the water. Or maybe you have this walkout room that you go right to the ocean from your room. But they're saying that there are ways that you can save money, and people don't really think about those ways in order to travel to the Maldives.
No, they just kind of rule it out. It's almost, it's kind of interesting because we create this ceiling for us. Mm-hmm. And I look at travel, the way I look at travel is how I look at all things in life. This could be a job, a career. We put limiters and say, I can't afford this. I can't go there. So you're telling the universe, I can't afford that. I can't go there. And they'll say, yes, no, you can't. So whatever you say is what will happen. I just kind of, in my mind, it sounded crazy, but I just put it on my list and said, I'm going to go. Mm-hmm. I didn't know how. I didn't have a plan. Mm-hmm. And then I feel like you allow, and I'm saying the universe, but God, just to be really neutral about it. But I feel like your mind, you kind of have that mindset like, all right, this is what I want to do. You put that out there, and you never know who you will meet, what actions will unfold that will present that opportunity to you. Absolutely. So, and that's how I tell people, it's like, it was just an opportunity, and I said yes, Mm-hmm. But okay, and the other thing that I thought was interesting about the Maldives, and I didn't know this until I got there, it's a huge diving, attraction. A lot of people come from all over the world. They have some of the most beautiful diving spots. So we went out and spent a day and went out and saw whales and, got to see dolphins. And it's just the clarity. I mean, it's hard to explain. The closest thing I can say is it feels like you're living in a screensaver, Wow. It's this feeling, and it's just this joy and peace. And
have any opportunity to experience the culture?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Okay. So as I mentioned, when I arrived, it was during Ramadan. Okay. So that was beautiful to see because I spent about 3 days in the city. So I say during the day, we went to a couple restaurants, got to talk to a lot of the locals, and this is in the city, in the capital, which is called Male, and it's spelled like male. So I'm saying, hey, so this is male, and they're like, oh, okay. Male. And it was just beautiful to see because I feel like we've been given such a stifled version of the religion and the religion of Islam, and to see it practiced, that was just beautiful for me. Mm-hmm. And then at night we went out to a couple places, some of their activity. And then, again, it's interesting because people do go out, but you don't see, how do I say, I guess the whole date cult, that's kind of taboo because it's a Muslim country, so it's a little different. You'd see more families and couples together than or you see people out separately. Okay. So especially when they're a little younger, I feel like that's still, and that might be changing somewhat, but at that time, it was very strict adherence to that. So if you just think about Muslim laws and culture, it's a very strict Muslim country. Okay. And what else did we do there? Yeah, I mean, again, I'm a foodie, so I wanted to go to all the local. They have local spots. They had good Indian food at a couple places. They have some Thai, but it's not as a diverse community as some other places.
Okay.
Most of the residents are, I'd say, indigenous to the islands,
Yeah.
with some a lot of Indian inhabitants because it's, it's right there for them. And the island and again, it's 1,200 islands. So in the island that we stayed on, it was called Vilingili, and that was just one of many of those many islands that have, bed and breakfast or Airbnbs, guest houses, and this
Okay.
happened to be a boutique hotel. So it was very affordable. They had a pool, but it was really nice because we felt like we had our own private beach in
Okay.
the screensaver.
Oh, wow.
And the other thing they do, which is cultural in India and the South, in some parts of the South Pacific, if you ask the question in America, we go yes, like, oh yeah, that's good. They go, oh yeah, I'll take you. They kind of move this way. So that kind of throws you off.
Yeah.
So
Well, I love Indian movies, right?
yeah,
I've been looking at Bollywood for years, and
right, you do. I love it. I love it. So that was something. Those are things that people don't tell you about until you get there. And even just getting around, like if you need a cab or you're asking for directions, or when you're ordering your food at a restaurant and you ask people certain questions, and a lot of them do speak English in that area, not everywhere, but just saying, hey, can I have this? Sure. Or they will answer, they can understand you, but their English might not be that good. So they'll go, like, so I can't have it.
Or yes.
And they'll go, yes, no. And it was like this weird, like for 3 minutes, I went back and forth with this guy. I was like, wait a minute. So I can get some? Yes.
And we know that as no. Yeah.
So it was messing me up. And then,
Just to remember some travel tips as you're thinking about planning your 2021, well, 21, 22 Maldives trip. Usually Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturdays are the best times to travel.
Absolutely.
Consider that. There are sites like Skyscanner. You can get last minute deals, last minute flights and hotels. You can look at Award Hacker, and what they will do is compare your dollars to your miles. So there are some ways and some tips that can help you travel a little better. I am going to also say that remember on Tuesdays, there are a lot of travel deals that come out on different websites. So think about Tuesdays, go on the websites. I've gotten some really good ticket prices just by using Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturday travel, just by looking at the deals that come out on Tuesdays. I try not to ever buy tickets during the weekend because I found that the prices are generally higher. But if you had to leave us with 3 tips to travel to the Maldives, even if it's 3 things to do, or just 3 tips that you can leave us for the Maldives. So when we plan, we can be ready.
Yep. So I'd say the first tip is just booking your flight. You mentioned some really good sites and tips. I would also add to that, I've used ITA Matrix.
Wow.
If you're flexible and you have time, I know teachers, anybody and now with COVID, a lot of people have work from home situations. So it makes it a little easier, but ITA Matrix lets you put in multiple destinations. So if you're not pressed on time and can take having 2 or 3 stops, that can make your flight cost drop dramatically. You can save anywhere from $200 to $300. And like you said, traveling on those middays or off days of the week is first. And again, just remember your most expensive cost of this trip is probably going to be your flight.
Yeah.
When you think about leaving the States. The second part is be open-minded and research. Now with Airbnb, vacation rentals, other sites, and the internet and social media, there is a plethora of information where you can go online and look up a lot of these small guest homes, Airbnbs, and make sure you type in inhabited island. Now the resort prices, that you can kind of offset that and maybe find something where if you want to do a weekend, and do a combined or a hybrid approach to the Maldives. That way you can see, here's how the luxurious live.
Yeah.
And also get some of the local culture. And that's something I love to do. Every country I've been to, I like to meet with locals so I can feel like I've learned and connected something. And in other trips, you might just want to stay at the resort and relax. But for this trip particular, and because it was during Ramadan, it really enabled me an experience to learn a lot about the locals, the culture, and the things they do for fun and hanging out. And the third thing, it's such a beautiful island. I would encourage everybody to take, if you don't dive, do at least a boat trip or an excursion out on the water where you can snorkel or even just watch the whales. It's just beautiful. I keep saying it, screensaver. It's like, how many times do you get to see this every day? So many of us are trapped in concrete jungles. So just to be in awe of God's beauty and just the serenity and peace of the water. And it was just such a good time. And, like I said, just be open-minded and be flexible. And you can make it happen for under, I'm going to say $2,500. You can make it happen.
Listen, I thank you so much, as always. I thank you for gracing us with your knowledge. All things, and it's not just about traveling. You give us practical tools to think about in life as we are planning our destinations. And even you've even shared a little tool just for living a better life. So I appreciate you.
But thank you again. I love to just kind of share and help as many people as I can. I know how fulfilled I've been from traveling, and I just want to share that with others. So a lot of it's so much fear surrounding it, especially us as a community and people. It's amazing when you're in different circles and you hear people that say they've been vacationing in Bali since they were 4. I'm like, I don't know people like, I didn't grow up with cousins who just had vacation property in Bali and Bora Bora and, we go to the Seychelles, every holiday. What? So, and now with social media and a lot of these travel groups, I think we've been able to see us there thriving, and it's made it less scary. The world is not as a scary place anymore.
And we also travel and see that we're everywhere. I always joke with my Nigerian friends. There's a Nigerian in every country on this planet.
No, there is. Every country. Every country I have ever been to, I have seen a Nigerian. That is not a lie.
So I'm like, don't worry. We're there. We are there.
They are all over Asia. They are in India. They're everywhere. I'm telling you.
Exactly. So again, thank you guys. All we want to do is grow and glow with each of you. I hope that you can learn from me. I can learn from you. And together we can be better. Be blessed.